Because how are you in your 30s and your joints hurt? Ooh, peptides. We're gonna talk about peptides. So that's why you look like you're drifting away sometimes. You're just low. See, so easy to fix. The biggest mistake people make here is just basically you could be feeling dumb because you're not eating enough. You've learned. So your muscles get bigger and stronger. Okay? Because everybody knows what the mitochondria is. The mitochondria is the... Have you ever walked down the supplement aisle at the grocery store, stared at the hundreds of bottles, and just felt completely overwhelmed? Because I know I have, and you're not alone. Because we see all these influencers mixing 20 different powders into their morning smoothies or taking 10 pills at a time, and personally, I hate pills. But it used to leave me wondering, and maybe you feel this way as well too, what do we actually need? Because today, you and I are going to sit down and figure that out together. I'm going to tell you exactly what specific royal supplements you need, what to pair them with for them to make sense, because I bet nobody even told you that you need to take vitamin C with iron to actually absorb it better. Yeah, I know, but don't worry, we'll get back to it. But with the treatment, I'm going to tell you how much you should be taking. But if you're new here, hello, my name is Krishna Dunkley, aka Coach Krish, and for the past 8 years, I've been teaching highly ambitious women with the most hectic schedules how to fit better in their clothes, lose inches, and become a stronger queen because you're royalty. But somewhere along in life, you've forgotten who the hell you are. So subscribe so you don't forget. But here's the thing that nobody tells you. Before we dive into the cool supplement stuff, we need to set one major ground rule for the queendom, for your palace. So I want you to imagine you're building a giant, beautiful castle. Your everyday food, your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, your movement, they make up the big, strong bricks that build the castle walls. But keep in mind, the word supplement means it's meant to be a supplement, as in you're adding something to make something better. So it's not real food, they're just bonuses. Thinking of you having your castle, the supplements is going to be the flag on top of it, because it's just an additional thing. It's not going to make or break the castle by any means, but it will make it look pretty. It will. Because the truth is, you can't build a fortress blocking out negative energy and the bare minimum people with just flax. You have to eat, and no supplement will deliver life-changing results if you're ignoring the non-negotiable foundations. Regular strength training, proper hydration, daily movement, and just resting. But if your food, your sleep, your water, your movement, if they're amazing, then we can take a look at these supplements to see how we can make you feel even better like the queen you deserve to be. So let's start off with the absolute basics, your palace guards. So this is going to be your high quality multivitamin. Think of a good multivitamin as like a palace guard. You might be thinking like, hey, I eat a great diet, I'm healthy, I don't need a vitamin. Wrong. Unfortunately, because most of our soil is depleted, and because we live in an era where we're even questioning if our food is even real, even the best diets can have a lot of gaps in their palace, within their palace walls. If you haven't realized it yet, your body is the castle, your body is the palace. Just in case you didn't, click that in. But I think you did. But do you want to know the real secret though? A daily vitamin makes sure your body has all the tiny tools it needs to run your palace kitchen, your royal hormonal cycle, your digestion. All of those things need to be happy and moving properly if you want your waist to be snatched, which is what most people come to me for. But please do not fall for the biggest misconception out there. A lot of people think a multivitamin can make up for a terrible diet, telling themselves, like, I ate fast food all day, but hey, I took a vitamin. Stop it. Stop. Also, you need to banish those cheap mass market synthetic multivitamins. I know, the ones that you get from Costco. I'm sorry, but they need to get away from your castle, away from your palace, okay? They use cheap forms of vitamins that your body just flushes out, and then you see it in your dark urine, like, yuck. So simple dosage, take daily because it's a daily multiple vitamin, right? But I want you to remember to take it with a meal that has healthy fats. This way, your body's able to absorb the fat-soluble vitamins that come into a multivitamin like A, D, E, and K. Now, speaking of vitamins D and K, that brings us to our next essential ones. Vitamin D3 acts way more like a royal messenger than a simple vitamin. Think about it like it's your castle's defense system. It plays a huge role because it regulates your mood, it keeps your bones strong, and a lot of people aren't aware, but your body produces vitamin D in sunlight. But you gotta show a lot skin, okay? Now, a huge misconception, though, is that just by getting a few minutes of casual sunlight every day, it's enough. No, it's not. No, it's not. Because our modern day lifestyle includes being inside a lot in depression, a lot of the population is chronically starving for vitamin D. This is why seasonal depression is a thing. But there's this thing that no one actually tells you. You should not be taking vitamin D3 all by itself. You need to pair it with vitamin K2. Think of K2 as like a wise palace guard inside your body. So vitamin D3 helps your castle gather up all the goodness. Let's talk about like gold or your treasures, because a castle needs to have some treasures inside of her, right? But we're going to look at that as calcium. But vitamin K2 is the guard who stands at the door and directs the gold and tells the calcium exactly where it belongs, straight into the vaults, okay? AKA your bones and your teeth. Because we as queens, we love to have beautiful teeth and strong bones. And let's be honest, the first thing that you notice about somebody is their beautiful smile. And you also want to make sure you can get up from the ground without struggling or just walking without feeling pain. But there's this one thing that nobody tells you. If you don't have that palace guard, all that gold, all that calcium gets dropped in the middle of the hallways. It blocks the doors. So if you do not take K2, that calcium can build up in your arteries. That's not good. So please pair them together. But the good thing is they normally do come together. The base maintenance usually ranges from 2,000 to 5,000 IUs of D3. And again, pair that with K2, and usually you'll get it in a pill supplement with both of them together. But I highly, highly, highly recommend getting your blood work done so you can adjust the dosage properly. So that's another key thing here. Get a blood test so that you can see what you're deficient in. All right, let's talk about something that can completely tank your energy if you don't have enough of it. Think of iron as your body's primary delivery source, okay? What does that mean though? It's a key component for your red blood cells that carries fresh air from your lungs to the rest of your body. That sounds important, right? Well, without iron, your organs and muscles do not get the air it needs to function, okay? It also helps convert nutrients from your food into usable energy and maintains your immune system, your brain, your skin, your hair, your nails. So if you're not getting enough, it makes sense why you experience extreme fatigue, hair loss, brittle nails, cold feet and hands, dizziness when you stand up too quickly. And you know those moments where you look in the mirror and you're like, why am I so pale? I look like I'm dying. It's because iron gives blood its rich red color. So that's why you look like you're drifting away sometimes. You're just low in iron. See? So easy to fix. But where do we get our iron from outside of a supplement? So you can get it from two forms, animal sources and plant sources. Your body actually absorbs animal-based iron a lot easier, right? But you can get iron sources from liver, red meat, like beef and lamb, dark meat, poultry, shellfish and fish, sardines, salmon. For plant-based iron, you can get legumes, spinach, kale, pumpkin seeds, tofu. By the way, check the caption below. There's going to be a whole bunch of downloadable resources that will help support everything that we talk about here. Also, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know if this is actually very useful for you, if you like this format, because if not, I won't do this again. I'm just trying to find something that's very simple for me to record and talk about and have a good visual for you to follow along with, okay? I know it's not the most prettiest. I know it's not purple and all the other colors, but I hope this is helping. Please let me know. But anyways, if you're trying to build up your iron naturally, how you eat is going to be just as important as what you eat, okay? What I mean by that, and I said this earlier, you must pair iron with your vitamin C. Vitamin C drastically boosts the absorption of plant-based iron. So make a smoothie. Put some spinach, kale, some strawberries, some bell pepper. Actually, maybe not bell peppers in the smoothie. That'd be a little weird. I don't know if you like that. You like that. This is why you'll also see oatmeal with blueberries on top. It makes sense, right? It makes sense. Second, I'm going to need you to watch out for the calcium blockers, okay? Calcium sounds like the like the enemy. I promise she's not, but we just need to be cautious. But they can stop you from absorbing iron. So avoid drinking coffee or tea or eating dairy at the exact time that you're having those iron-rich meals. And by the way, a simple way of adding more iron to your meals is using a cast iron skillet. For one, they're amazing to cook with, but the iron from the cast iron obviously, goes into your food. This is also why we want to be cautious of the type of tools we're using to cook, because the high heat makes whatever material you're cooking with when it comes to your pots go into your food, just in case you didn't know that. Anyways, oh, and there's one thing that nobody tells you. If you do suspect that you have an iron deficiency, which honestly, majority of us all do, okay? Go get a full iron blood test panel done before you start taking high doses of an iron supplement. Excessive iron can be very toxic. Very bad. Very bad. Okay, we must protect the palace. We must. If you struggle with sleep, pay close attention to this next one. Let's talk about magnesium, okay? Because everybody knows what the mitochondria is. The mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. Of course, we all know that. But did you know that magnesium are the building blocks of the mitochondria? They didn't want to tell us that in school. Nah. So in this routine, magnesium is our ultimate recovery and sleep aid for our palace, okay? She relaxes your nervous system, she calms down your muscles, she regulates your stress hormones, and she perfectly prepares your brain for deep royal sleep, because every queen needs her beauty sleep. Biggest mistake I see people do here is grabbing the cheapest bottle on the shelf, which is usually magnesium oxide. Your body cannot use it, okay? It mostly just causes weird digestive issues or acts as a laxative. So if you don't want to end up on the toilet the whole time, don't do that, okay? And that's definitely not what we want before bed. So how should you take this? Get the magnesium glycinate, okay? It's easy on your system. It's excellent for sleep, anxiety, muscle relaxation. Why can't I say that word? The usual dosage is about 200 to 400 milligrams an hour before bed, but you can notice immediate improvements in your sleep, which is amazing when it comes to just the effects of this supplement. Now, let's head over to our omega-3 fatty acids. So these are essential fats that our bodies cannot make on their own. Here's a very key thing. When I say essential, that means our body cannot make it. When they're non-essential, we got it. I want you to picture omega-3s as a powerful internal shield for your castle walls, for your palace. They are incredibly important for your heart health, lubricating your joints so they move smoothly, and keeping your brain as sharp as the age. So basically, you could be feeling dumb because you're not eating enough omega-3s. You've learned, but make sure that you look for a high quality product, okay? One that's third-party tested, because you want a combined total of roughly 1,000 to 2,000 milligrams of active fish oil components every single day. If you are consistent with it, over several months, you'll start to notice that your joint stiffness goes away, you're making improvements with your brain health, and yes, I said several months. We're not looking for quick fixes here. Aren't you tired of your body going through quick fixes? Aren't you tired of the mental health issues that you get when you deal with quick fixes? Okay, we don't do these here. Anyways, let's head over to collagen peptides. So you have probably two reactions when I said peptides. Either you're annoyed because of the whole trend of things, or you're like, ooh, peptides, we're gonna talk about peptides. Either way, you're here, so let's get into it. I'm not talking about the needles, okay? Think of collagen as the super strong royal glue that holds your whole castle, your palace together. It's what keeps your skin bouncy, your joints moving smoothly, and your tummy very happy. Because as we get older, our palace starts to run out of its magic glue. But by taking this supplement, you are just sending more supply trucks, basically, to patch up the worn out spots in your castle wall. Now, there's a lot of skeptics that like to argue that collagen is just that beauty aid, or that the body just breaks it down like regular protein. But research does show that broken down collagen peptides are very special. It signals it to say, hey, we need more of this. And so it's going to help you where your body needs it the most, especially when it comes to your aching joints. Because how are you in your 30s and your joints hurt? How are in your 40s and your joints hurt? Promise you, you do not have to feel trapped or feel broken in your body. This is the reason why I'm creating these videos, so you can understand how to feel like yourself again, you know? The powerful queen that you are. Anyways, so how should we take this? Just mix a daily scoop of 10 to 20 grams of collagen peptides into your coffee, into your smoothies, into your water, right? And usually it's tasteless as well, but be patient with this one. Improvements in your joints and skin usually take about 8 to 12 weeks for you to see visible or at least feel the difference. Again, we are staying away from the quick fixes. We want long-term sustainable results, and this is what's going to help. And the great thing is you can get it from food. Check below in the comments. And also, have you subscribed yet? Have you liked this post yet? Have you commented and let me know which specific parts has been helpful so far? Maybe it hasn't been helpful. I don't know. Anyways, we're getting into the big guns now, okay? The elite royal court is what we shall call the following that we're going to go over, okay? Because we've already covered the foundations, the protectors, the relaxers. Now it's time for the fun stuff. Let's talk about the performance and building muscle areas, okay? So first up in this category is going to be our beautiful creatine. So this is the most thoroughly researched supplement in all of fitness. At its core, creatine helps your body rapidly produce pure energy, okay? This directly improves your muscle power, your muscle strength, your explosive performance. Plus, it also has even great benefits when it comes to your brain, aiding in mental clarity, supporting a healthy period. So creatine is for the queens. But here's the thing that nobody tells you though, because a lot of women avoid creatine thinking that it will make them look bulky, thinking that it will make them look fat, that it will cause bloating, that it will make them look puffy. That is absolutely wrong. So creatine draws water inside the muscle cells to make them look fuller and work better, not the soft, puffy bloat people are afraid of. And no, it does not cause hair loss or kidney damage. Science has repeatedly disproven that, okay? You're welcome. So go get some creatine. Anyways, I would actually recommend you get this right now. By the way, the two things that I'd recommend you actually start taking right now is creatine and magnesium. So I actually created a skit on this, but to get you to better understand how creatine works for your body, because it's something that you have to daily use. Imagine your muscle batteries are like a cool water bottle, right? And when the water bottle is completely full, you have tons of energy to run, jump, and rule your queendom, rule your palace. But when you first start taking creatine, your bottle is empty. Some people do this. You do not have to have this loading phase, if it is what it's called. But this is where you take double the amount so that your muscles fill up very quickly. Again, you don't have to do this. There's no harm in doing it or not doing it. It's totally up to you. But when you do finally fill up that water bottle or your muscles with that water, you have to maintain it because a little bit of water slowly seeps out every single time. So you're not supposed to just take creatine on your workout days because you're not going to reap the benefits. So because of that little leak, just take 3 to 10 grams every single day so that the leak will continue coming out, but you're topping it up so you don't have to worry about the fact that you're not losing out on the benefits. You'll usually start seeing results when it comes to your strength, when it comes to your recovery within a few weeks of being consistent here. Key thing is always consistency, yeah! Last but certainly not least, let's go into our essential amino acids. These are the building blocks of your muscles. You might have heard of BCAAs or EAAs and wondered, what is the difference? Or maybe you've just heard of BCAAs. When you lift heavy things or you exercise, your palace, your queendom gets a little tired and she gets worn out. It's like bringing in a devoted team that is ready to serve, that's ready to protect, that's ready to rebuild the palace walls so your muscles get bigger and stronger. Okay, so what is better? Let's say that you had a box of BCAAs. There's going to only be 3 lords, okay? 3 worshipers in there. But one of those lords are very loud and they scream and tell everybody, hey, wake up, it's time to serve the queen, which we do love, right? But the problem is, that's all they do. They wake everybody up, but they don't give them the tools to actually do the things that you need them to do. Now, when it comes to the EAAs, think of another box, but that box has all 9 of the elite lords inside, including the 3 special loud people screaming, go help the queen in that box too. So not only do you have people saying, go help the queen, but you have all the building blocks and supplies to build up your palace to repair her. That's why EAAs are more important. But it's funny how we only hear about BCAAs. Of course. But this is why you're listening to me, right? But out of those 9 EAA lords, There is an absolute superstar that deserves the shine, who completely worships the ground that you walk on. This is the Grand Duke Lucien. But he is the most powerful man or woman in the court, and they are completely tied to building muscles, right? Think of Lucien as the leader of the men or women who worship the queen. When Lucien shows up at the palace, they will proudly blow a very royal whistle and say, "All right, everyone, the queen has arrived. Time to wake up, bow down, and build her some strong muscle." So to get the best results, you can either take 6 to 12 grams of EAAs right before you exercise, so you have those devoted soldiers ready to serve your goals, or right before or after you lift heavy, eat or drink a total of 20 to 30 grams of protein. But inside that protein, you have to make sure there's 2 to 3 grams of leucine, which is our Grand Duke, of course, and 5 grams of total EAAs. Woo! So we covered a lot of groundwork today, from the castle foundations to the palace guards, the delivery service in your blood, all the way to the muscle building lords and the Duke. And honestly, I could literally make another video because there's so many other vitamins and minerals, but all I want you to do is to remember that these are supplements for a reason. Get your sleep, eat your whole foods, move your body, lift heavy things. And I know it sounds boring, but the boring stuff works for a queen who has high standards. Being able to stick to the boring is a luxury. Okay, so let these supplements be the flag that sits on top of your palace, on top of your castle. Okay, but I'll see you in the next video. Don't forget to comment below if this helps and what you'd like me to do next. Okay, bye.